You know the format of the contest. It's a 7 minutes 30 second speech,
Mm.
and by the time I was at the semifinals of the World Championship, I had done it more than 100 times in front of live audiences as part of my practice and learning. So that's the only way you can make it better. You have to record it each time and watch it. So I had this crazy routine that I would find live audience. Any live audience that is willing to listen to my 7 minutes 30 second speech, I would sign up for it. That means I had to drive all over the San Francisco Bay Area up and down. And I would do it lunchtime, I would do it evenings, I would do it weekends. And in some cases, I would catch a flight just to get one 7 minutes, 30 second speaking opportunity.
Wow, that's
Live
dedication.
audience, like at a regional conference, they invited me to come and speak and be the keynote speaker. As part of it, they said, you can do this speech also. And then I would record them all, send it to my coach in Chicago. That's Prasian Vasilev, the 2013 world champion. And then Friday after work, I would fly down and stay in a hotel so I could practice with him live Saturday, Sunday, and fly back. And I did weekend after weekend. It, I don't know how I got through that period, but it can get very obsessive. It leads to actually a second skill that I picked up along the way is to be doggedly persistent. And I learned this after I did my first ever marathon. Uh,
Mm.
and before that, I'm not an athlete by any stretch of the imagination. It's in the culture I grew up. It's more important to get good scores in the math test than shine on the basketball court. That's just how Indian culture is. And growing up in India, the emphasis was not on sports, but academic excellence, particularly in math and sciences, and get into a professional degree course. So, but when I came here, I stumbled across the finish line, politically speaking. I was not running it of the Central Park of the New York Marathon. I just happened to be in Central Park at the time, and I didn't realize it was the day of the New York City Marathon. And I saw all these people go by, and I had a certain imagination of the kind of people who probably run marathons. And what I saw was these were not elite athletes. These were people who were on wheelchairs and crutches, and people with all types of body types were finishing the marathon. And that's when I said, if they can do it, I should be able to do it. It took me several years to sign up. Finally, I signed up and I did it. It took a lot of training and having coach and working with a team, etc. But I stumbled across the finish line in a time that is not flattering at all. And again, it proved once again I'm not an athlete. But all I cared was that I had to get across that finish line. But it taught me the power of setting a goal and being persistent about it and getting to it. And I started bringing that approach to other things, including the winning the Toastmaster, well, not winning, getting to, I said, in the top 20. That didn't happen automatically. And after I first started competing, it took me almost 17 years before I got to that stage. And I'm still not done because I've not won outright. At the back, there is a gap, and that gap is for the actual championship trophy. And but I don't care if it takes 20 years or it doesn't happen in my lifetime. Again, the goal is not to outright win a piece of plastic you can put on your bookshelf, but to constantly keep pushing, saying, can you better get better at it this year than the previous year? So that sense of dogged persuasion and knowing this is you're doing this for the long haul and you're competing only against yourself and the game is never over. It just the innings got over. So there's one more inning that you can give yourself if you're pursuing a goal is another, I would say, using your terminology, superpower that just life experiences taught me.
Yeah, thank you. And I think the listeners who are watching this are also getting the path of learning, the context of learning also, as well as the path of learning. The
Yeah.
context is that this is not as a way to win some medals or plastic things or acknowledgement. This is a path of self-actualization, self-realization, right?